So at this point, it's been, I don't know, 20 years since Frank Ocean dropped a new album. So today I'm going to take matters into my own hands and make a beat for his upcoming album that'll drop probably, I don't know, 30 years from now at this point. And I'm going to show you guys just how to make a Frank Ocean beat in general. So let's get into it. We're going to be using a BPM of 124 today. Really just look up the Frank Ocean songs you like. He uses a variety of different BPMs. The first sound I'm going to be using is called EXO's Guitar, and it's from my new bank Grailed, which is a really great bank for these types of beats, as it's like an equal mix of synth sounds as well as realer sounds like guitars, pianos, flutes, brass instruments, etc. So really great for Frank Ocean type beats, and it is a one-shot / analog bank, so if you don't have analog labs, you can still have access to all the sounds within the bank. So I'm going to start with some chords for this guitar, and I'm going to show you how to make it sound like an actual guitar. Let's knock this down here. And all I did right there was I just transposed this note, so this is still a So this is still a B major chord, but I just move this down an octave, and now it just sounds a little bit deeper. Then I'm just gonna grab this right here, move it down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's like a really great trick for your melodies, is if you have a chord, you can always move it up or down 5 and it's going to sound really nice. And so that's just what I did here. And this is technically an F sharp major chord right here, and I'll explain why that's important a bit later when we add like our bass line and stuff. And in this case, I was originally just trying to look for notes that like lined up together, but when I just bumped that up, it ended up sounding pretty good. And now we're just gonna use the same trick and just grab this and move it down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to add some notes, fill up the space right here, and we need to also strum it so it sounds like an actual guitar. If you have a guitar, you're never hitting all the strings at the exact same time. It's literally virtually impossible unless you have, no, it's literally impossible. So it's always being strummed, and so you have to make sure that you strum it in order to make it sound like a real guitar. Otherwise, it's gonna sound very computerized like it does right now. Struggling. Just to strum them, all you do is go to Alt S, and then right here you can control how much you want it to be strummed. So right here is pretty drastic. Or you can do something a bit more subtle like this. I think I'll go with something like this because I want it to be a little bit tighter. And now we're going to place some notes in between here, and I'm also going to kind of play with the lengths of these just to make it sound a little bit more realistic as well. All right, so here's what I have for just the strumming. And I know I'm spending a lot of time explaining this, but this is what we're going to build our entire beat off of. So make sure that you're getting this down and it sounds good. Otherwise, it's going to kind of just mess up the rest of your beat. Now I want to add some like notes in between. All right, so here's what I came up with. Let me just play it and I'll explain why I did what I did here. So right here, how I decided to put notes in each place is kind of wanted it to feel like it was going up and then have it drop it back down. So right here, I just added this C, really because it sounded good, and I knew it would sound good because there's already other chords that are playing the note. And then I just had it go up to the D, which is this D that's at the top of this chord. Right here, it just drops itself back down into the actual root note of this chord, which is this C sharp right here. And then I just kind of mirrored it over here. And then to add some slight variation at the end, this is all copied over. I just shortened these notes a little bit, just so it sounds, you know, real. Then I added this D to kind of close it out, as this chord right here has a D. I'm keeping the effects relatively light, just throwing on some guitar rig to just give it more reverb for this guitar specifically, and just this compressor, just because I felt like the guitar was a little erratic after I added this reverb right here. So just kind of balancing out the levels, and then just cutting out some low end right here. And we have officially made more progress probably than Frank Ocean's new album. I really just imagine Frank whenever he goes to the studio, he's just like, all right, Frank, just let us know when you're ready. Yeah, I'm ready. Hit it. And I think we're done.
Yeah, that was perfect.
And that's why the album's taking so long. I'm probably completely wrong, but that's what it feels like. Hurry up, Frank. Now, the next sound I'm going to use is another sound from the bank. It's called Dillon's guitar. And this is a guitar that just sounds slightly different, a little bit more reverb on this one. For this guitar, all I did was copied over that exact same pattern from the first one and only cut out the low end to make room for the bass on this one. No other effects. The next sound we're going to bring in is a synth, as Frank does use a lot of different synthesizers and stuff like that, often mixed with guitars in his beats, so that's why I decided to do that for this one. And this is another preset from the bank using a DX7, and I just created this sound called The Room. It just sounds nice. And with this sound, I just copied over the chords and then dragged them out right here. And again, no effects, just cutting out some low end. And that's really just meant to fill up some of the empty space and kind of add like a nice texture to the beat. Next sound as we have is just another synth sound from the kit. It's called Crown. So next sound we're going to use is this loaded bass. It's just a one shot from my kit. If you're using a one shot like bass line or just any notes, turn everything down except the holds. Sometimes if you're working with keys or something like that, you'd leave the release on, and then also make sure it's set to stretch. This bass sound is just from the 8-bit drum kit, which we're going to be using here today, as it has a lot of like real sounding drums. So it's really good for these types of beats. One important note is because we went and we threw these notes down here, the root note is actually going to be these notes. So these second notes. So that's where we're going to want to put our bass line for it to sound good. Frank, I will give you this beat for, no, not for free. You can use this beat if you hurry up with the album, but it's not free. Fuck that. About to make hell money off that album. So I went through and picked out all my drum sounds. I've been doing this a lot more lately and I've been liking the results. I feel like it's almost faster. See, I was able to kind of like pull things out, pull them back in by just having everything laid out here. So I've got the beat arranged, and I'm just going to walk you through it as I play it. This is very important, as if you don't arrange your beats, in a way that people can actually, sing and stuff on them, then nobody's going to want to use them. So I'm going to show you guys a lot of really cool subtle tricks, so make sure to pay close attention, as this should be helpful for arranging any different type of beats, and not a lot of people talk about it. So to get started, just have one guitar playing right here. Then the second one's going to come in along with the bass line before the hook. And it's going to pause right here to make the drop sound bigger. Now for this part of the chorus, this is just the first half. I didn't add the guitar and I left out some drums, as well as I took a few hi-hats out to make it sound a bit slower. And what that did was it made the second half of the chorus sound bigger and kept things interesting. Now over here, for the verse, I just took almost everything out and then added this synth before it drops into the main part of the verse right here. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe, and I will see you soon.